Okay, so we are back and ready to add some more details to our behind the door artwork. So the next thing we're going to do is we are actually going to add a light switch to the wall in our work. So I am going to move over from this side to somewhere over here, and I'm going to think about, I can look at a wall in my house, or I can look around and think about where would the light switch be located. So what I notice when I look at the light switch in my house is if here's the door handle, it's a little bit higher up than the door handle, but it's certainly not towards the top there. So I'm going to draw a light switch on this wall over here, maybe not too far from the door. And I'm just going to start sketching that out just with a little box. It's not going to be super big, and I'm going to sketch it in lightly, and then of course I can always clean it up later. So I think that's pretty good to start with. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my ruler to clean up those lines, just make sure they're a little bit neater. Okay, and then from there, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sketch in a rectangle. It's about right here. Above that, I'm going to draw a small circle and a small circle below that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this into 3 sections. Okay. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a border along the outside edge of this. Just a really thin one. And I want it to be about the same width the whole way around. And we've got a light switch on our wall. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this line out. That line was just there to basically help me kind of set up my composition, get the placement for my door put in, get the placement for my light switch. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start painting. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paints ready here in a second, and we'll get started with painting the door, the floor, and the light switch in. Okay, so we'll be back in just a second. Okay, I'm back and I am ready to move on with my painting here of my door. So I've got my watercolors and my water and a clean brush. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up just kind of what we're going to refer to as a medium brown. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to use this kind of as my base color for my door. So I don't want it super, super dark brown because we're going to have to come back in a little bit and darken it up. But I'm also not mixing any other colors into it. This is just my regular brown from my paint palette. So you can just see here, I've just taken the brown and put it in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paint in several sections of my door. So I'm going to start on this side, and I'm going to paint the whole border of this door in. I'm going to flip my book because I work better at some angles than others. Okay, so we have that much done. Now, what we're gonna do is come in and paint in the inside panels, but we're not gonna paint these little the trim around it. We're not gonna paint those in yet. We're gonna be doing some shading on there to create that more three-dimensional effect. So what I'm gonna do is paint on the insides of these, and I'm gonna be careful to stay out of those. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let that paint dry, and then once that's dried, I'm gonna come back in and I am going to add in more detail to help this look more realistic or more three-dimensional. Okay, so we'll be back in a little bit to add more to our painting.